Hello everyone and welcome back to the Unity series tutorial where I show you the first starter things that you need to know when starting Unity. Last time we left off on installing and building our first room. In this tutorial part I'm going to talk more about texturing and materials, which you can get directly from anything such as Google or your browser, for example. And then you can reformat textures in any way, shape, or form you like. So, if you have this room built, if you didn't watch my other part, you can go watch it. I should have it linked right about now up here. So if you want to, you can go watch that part first, or just stay on this part if you want to learn about Unity and just have something to watch. Anyway, let's get started. First, we'll need a material. So, what I want you to do is come down to your assets, right-click, head to create, click material, and then rename this to any material you want. For example, I'm going to call this walls. Now this material is walls. So we can click it and we can see it pops up on in our inspector here. So this is the material that if you drag it, for example, it will look like this. It will have a little material outline like this if you drag it. So we'll outline an object there, but if you wanted it at a different color or a slight tannish brown, you can go up to yellow, bit orangish, and we could give it a slight tan by just moving it and keep moving it to where the walls are. Light yellowish. Hold on. There we go. That'll work. See, you can play with the colors. Okay, so let me explain what these four things do by just applying this one real quick. So the smoothness is probably by far the easiest one to play around with, which basically lets you essentially edit the mirrorization of a material or object. So how much it reflects, for example. So you can mess around with this slider and see how much it reflects, and you can adjust it based on the setting that you want to look like in the scene. Okay, so next, what we're gonna do is, you want this so you can start applying it to every wall around your scene. This should apply to the entirety of the cube. Now there is a way to apply it directly to the object, but for this example, we're just going to do it for here. So now we've got our walls shaded to a nice brown, and you can adjust the smoothness in any way you want. For now, I'm just going to adjust the smoothness, for example, into a little bit like this, so that the walls blend a little bit more. Anyway, what we can do now is you can actually pick up textures from Unity's asset store, which if you go to your browser and you type in Unity Asset Store, for example, here it is, Unity Asset Store. Click on that, and then you can search for the word texture, and they will pull up a list of textures. Now there are filters here. If you scroll down and you look at pricing, you can decrease that all the way to 0, and you can find what textures are free. Some aren't textures and some won't work, by the way, but a lot of them will, and a lot of them actually look stunning, honestly. But you can pick textures up from the Unity Assets Store, and once you add the assets, it'll say in My Assets, which if you go up here, this is your assets. You'll probably have to sign up if you aren't a experienced Unity user on their site, so you probably have to sign up in order to get these assets. But if you did, however, they'll show up in this little window. Whoa, hold up there. I completely forgot to explain this in the other video, and sorry for that. The people who didn't understand that on the last video will understand it now because I explained it. But so if you don't have this window, what you can do is you can go up to this top bar here, click on Window, and click on Package Manager. This will open up a window just in the middle of your Unity scene, and you'll have it open now. So hope this helped, and yeah. Which, if you hit this directory tab and you go to My Assets, or in Project, My Assets, if you go to My Assets, all your assets will show up here. So you can just click on the one that you want and then click Download. No, you'll have to download it first and import it second, but for right now, we're just focusing on building the room. So, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the floor and we're gonna do the ceilings. So, for the ceiling, we're gonna go ahead and go to our project tab, right click, go to create another material, or you can just do it another way around by going ahead and clicking in material, pressing Ctrl D, that'll duplicate it. And personally, I just like to make a new material, so I'm just gonna, or not, it just duplicates it, okay. Well, I'm just gonna, don't worry, that's alright, that's fine. It's just a little pink gradient. Oh, by the way, I should explain this, by the way. This pink right here means textures are unloaded or missing. So if you experience this, you'll probably have to do the texture that you once did again, over again. So this is the texture missing color. It's a light pink. So, what we're gonna do for the ceiling is I'm just gonna slap this on here as a ceiling, so it blends in quite well. And then for the floor, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pick up an asset for it that I have seen. I'm actually gonna go ahead and pick up this one. Stylized wood textures. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, and you can see it's in our assets. So, if we go back to our Unity project here, and we keep scrolling down, let's click the refresh button. We keep scrolling down here. It's all the way at the bottom. I have a lot of assets, but a lot of them are good. A lot of them I built a lot of VR chat worlds with, so. Scroll past it. Here they are. Stylized wood textures. Now let's see how they look. Gonna go ahead and download them. Unity will download them from the asset store. And then we can go ahead and import them. Now, once you import them, a window will pop up on the side. This is pragmatically, in my case, for developers, for the textures that are supported for Unity. So if they have this green box over here, that means they're okay and supported for Unity. If they're not, however, you might have to do a little bit extra to get them to support. But so far, these are supported. And once this is done, we can see we have a new folder in our assets. So I'm gonna click Stylize Wood Textures, and I'm gonna go click on Materials. And I'm just gonna go click on whatever I want, like this. And here we can see we have a pre-made material with a different and a load of preset settings that we want for the material. So for my case, I'm just gonna slap this material, or slap what material on makes sense. After I'm done with this, I'll show you how you can get wood textures via Google, which you can get wood textures anywhere to make blend in. Okay, so now once you have your flooring in, I guess we'll go down here and adjust the smoothness. Metallic. This one doesn't have, some materials do not have smoothness. Some materials actually have settings which you have to go based off metallic maps, which metallic maps, for instance, I'll have a short part of a tutorial explaining how these work. But for instance, if we go down here and we go ahead and pull these up in an image software, we can see that this is the normal texture. And then if we pull one of these up, this is how Unity interprets textures. So these are normal maps, light maps, and all the other maps that Unity deters. And these are all different textures that Unity uses for detailing the textures. So these are the 4 that you'll see. Obviously there will be more, but Unity will automatically tell you to set these guys up so that it looks their best. Sometimes it will though. Oftentimes it won't. But these are these 4 maps you'll be starting out with. These are the 4 main maps that I have for detailing. Because once your flooring is done, we're gonna go ahead and work on lighting. So you can pick up extra lighting assets. For my sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and look for a lighting asset. I'm going to look for... This is the lighting asset I've got. It's called Retro Lamps, and basically it's a furniture asset that puts furniture and everything in here, like lighting, for example. But it puts them as meshes, which meshes, if you don't know, are basically the renderings of an object. So basically the how we see an object, basically. So I'm gonna let this import. So we have them downloaded. So now we can look for this Retro Lamps prefabs. We can go ahead and look for, and some of these are going to be unloaded for some reason. I don't know why. And they're not, so that's good. Anyway, we're gonna look for some that are able to go on top of the ceiling. Like this guy, for example. Now, you can see that this is too big right off the bat. So what do we do about this? So this is where the scaling feature comes in. If we head up here, and we click this guy right here, this is where the scaling feature comes in, and this is where you can shrink objects to your liking. So if we shrink, and then we shrink this way, and don't worry, it might look weird at first, but if you get good at this, it shouldn't. Should look okay. So now, that we have shrunken this, let's go ahead and put it on the ceiling to where the textures meet, and not where it just fades like that, for example. Let's put it on a ceiling like that. And now that we have the light on the ceiling like that, and we're done with the scaling feature. So we can go ahead and move on to materials to make these guys blend in. So, shininess you don't really need. Honestly, I'm just going to turn off gizmos here, because Collider's getting in the way of visuals here at the moment. Should look okay, though. No, some of these settings don't do anything visually. Some of them do a little bit of their work behind the scenes of Unity. So now, once you get your lighting assets and stuff set up, now you can notice that this doesn't have any lights. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about lighting here eventually in the scene. So the way you get lighting is you can head up here, this little shortcut. You can head to light, and then you can head to point light. So place a point light in the scene. And we can see that there is a small light in our scene. So I'm just going to put this guy in the center. I usually do this 3 lights at a time, but for optimization's sake, we're just going to put this in the middle. Because I can't figure out a way to be able to get this to light itself up without putting it in the middle. Which, we're just going to do that. Now, if you want toning for your lighting, you could do this. You could try your best to kind of push it to orange to kind of temperature tone your light. I know there's temperature settings, but they do probably the same as just changing the color. So now we have our light installed. So, looks okay in here, but it could look better. Let me tell you how that works. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna head up to this plus here. You're gonna head to light, and then you're gonna head to reflection probe. What this will do is it will mirror certain reflections. It will mirror certain reflections and make them better inside of a scene. Now you can see it looks like a sphere. That's just how it'll look. Basically like a round mirror. Basically like a mirror in the shape of a ball. Basically. So for my sake, I'm just going to use real time. I use real time for everything, just for realistic graphics. However, it is optimized. Real-time lighting in course of baked lighting is relatively different. Real-time uses real-time lighting data and GUI data to generate the best lighting settings for your scene. Baked, however, if baked is a whole different thing. You actually have to bake your lighting in the scene properly to be able to have good lighting. So now, once you have your light probe in your scene, mine's baked, but for everything else, I'm just gonna set this to real time so that we get a better look in our room in Unity. So we can have this kind of, like shadow filter. So if we, for example, watch this. When I switch it back to baked, it goes like that. We still have the shadow filter, however, but just for my sake, I like real time because this is basically, if you think of this like a round mirror, for example, that's displaying everything onto walls and textures at the same time. So what we can do, what you can do is, if this doesn't work for you, you can use something called box projection, which basically projects this to this box outline here. So you can have it projected to the box outline, or you can just have it spread wherever, depending on what settings you're using. So once that is done, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and add some furniture. Now, the way that we're going to do this, no, this is the easy route. You can do this easy or hard, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to deter it easy. So what you're going to go ahead and do is, for this sake, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the asset store. I'm just going to search for chair and table. So search for this, chair and table. Go to the pricing. Scroll down all the way to 0. And you can get pretty realistic chairs for absolutely nothing if you really wanted to. Now, be wary about which one you choose, because some textures, if you're doing them in certain games, they won't render right, and some will be unsupported. But, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to pick an asset here that looks relatively okay. let's do this one. I like this coffee table and chair and seat setup. Also, assets will give you a 3D render model that you can view. This one is a one-way render model. Doesn't let you move up or down. So what I want you to do is look for this asset, type in the name exactly how it is on the video, and then grab this asset for yourself. It is free on the Unity store and it'll pop up on your assets. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is we're gonna go ahead and refresh and we're gonna look for it. So there we go. We found it. Now I'm gonna download and import it. And also, a little quick note, be wary of what assets you choose, because if some of these assets do run on different pipelines, for example. Pipelines are the systems Unity uses to render things differently at higher resolutions. So, be wary if assets do have dependencies, because dependencies also screw projects over sometimes. But in my case, there's not a whole lot of assets where you'll be able to see that. So we're just gonna go to here. We're gonna go to prefabs. Most of these guys will have prefabs. Now these prefabs here are actually prefabrications that the creator has set up and just allowed you to import in the assets. So these are things or objects that have already been texturized, set up by the creator. So what we can go ahead and do is you can just drag it into the scene and it'll automatically render. Now this table is too small. I'm just gonna go ahead and scale this up a bit. Now I will give you the values if you need to copy them up here once I'm done scaling this. Nope. Okay, so once you have your coffee table set up, this is what it should look like. This is what I'm using. You can copy the values down from my seats here. If you go look at scale, if you head to your inspector, make sure your object is selected, and you head to your inspector, you can copy these values down. Probably most likely have these scaled values linked in the description for you guys to copy if you want the size and scale of my replica. Okay, so once you have your coffee table in here, and it's looking all beautiful in the scene and atmosphere. This is probably too small, but I'll scale it up by the end, actually. And I'll just have the values linked down there in the description for you guys. If you want to copy the values. It's completely up to you, but what we're gonna do next is, you can see that the walls are bland here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make pictures. So the way that we do this is go to your Pro Builder add-on that we got in the last video, click the plus, and make sure it is on cube. Now I'm just gonna drag this in here just for the sake of time and effort of just dragging cubes. So once it's in here, let's click build. Now the way that we do this, now this is where the face utilization comes in handy. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make this into a frame. So we're just simply going to click control. This is not how frames look, but you're just going to get it till about, say, I'd say like right there. This is what your picture frame size should look like, about this small. Now we're going to go ahead and raise it just a little bit. Not holding control. We're just going to raise the picture just a little bit. Probably about the first tally mark on the cube. Alright, so once your picture is raised, next thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is build the outer frame. So what you're gonna do for this is you're gonna hold shift while dragging this up, and this will make an outline cutout of where your frame is. You're gonna do this on all sides, not selecting the corner, of course. Okay, now once your sides are done, here, let me just increase that just a small bit. Okay, so once your sides are done, what you go ahead and do is you select this side, and what I want you to do is hold shift and raise it up to about the mark where it is. So I'm just gonna get closer for this just to be able to figure out where the mark is. Okay, so once you have all sides extruded like that, just like this, now there's maybe some imperfections. That's just how Pro Builder works. I experienced some just now. So once you have your sides like this, what I want you to do is see how the face doesn't go along all the sides. So what I want you to do is select all the sides, including the corners. All the sides on the front should be selected, including the corner. Now what I want you guys to do is click shift or hold shift and extrude so that your extrusion looks accurate. And so you can see that the frame actually pops with the picture. Do a little tiny bit more. So now, we've built a picture frame using just a cube. Now you can build more objects with just a cube. I've built entire worlds with just a cube, but this is a picture frame. So, for example, now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and push it back towards the wall, kind of prop it up there. Make sure your textures aren't intercepting with the cubed walls that we created earlier. I'm just gonna duplicate it. You guys can duplicate it at home if you want. Just make them line up with the walls. Okay, so once you have all your pictures set on the wall, this is what mine looked like. Now we're gonna go ahead and create materials for them. So go ahead and hit create. Material. I'm gonna call this picture frame. And I'm gonna put this one black. Now here is where the material or side selector or face selector comes in handy, for example. So let's go up here and let's select the faces that we want to get materialized or shaded, for example. Also make sure your outsides are selected as well, including the part where you extruded. I should have done this, but I'm gonna have to do this 3 times. That's okay though. Just make sure you do it 1, and then you can have a replica, the same replica come out as duplicate. So now, once your sides are selected, we're gonna go ahead and apply that material. Make sure you apply it on here and not the frame. or not the inside of the picture. So once we've applied it, we can see that our frame or material has been applied to everything and every other frame except for the middle. Now this is what your picture frame should look like. You can shade it in any color you would like, but for right now I'm just gonna leave it like that. And I'm just gonna finish up the others here, for example. Okay, so once you have all your materials down. Also, one note I forgot to add: if you're selecting something, for example, and you go to click on another thing, make sure you hold Control with that thing, which will select multiple faces at a time. I didn't know if I pinpointed that out, so I just wanted to pinpoint that now. So once your frames are finished, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and make a inside material. So I'm gonna go ahead and create another material. We're gonna call this I just rename it. We're gonna call that picture. So once this material is called picture, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on the inside. Just gonna go ahead and put this on the inside, and this might not look right on the picture frame, and because I didn't use the scaling, I didn't use the scaler tool by accident. But what you can do, the picture doesn't come out right. For example, I will just grab a random picture off of Google here. Just grab a random picture. For example, I'll grab one that's scaled upright, portrait. Grab one that's portrait here. I like this one. Let's grab this one. So now we've got a portrait image. So what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead... Wait, this is the wrong file type. Wait, hold on. Okay, this is... Okay, so this is the wrong file type. So I'm just gonna go ahead and re-download the same picture and change the file format. Quick little tip. This might not always work, but if you add .png at the end and erase the AVF, it will actually change the file format to a PNG. Now this might not... Yeah, okay, it doesn't load. Okay, so I'm just gonna go grab another, and I'll actually see you guys back when I grab another. Okay, so I've got a random image from Google. As you can see, it's here. It's in the inspector. It's looking nice there. It's a 2D image. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go on the material that we just selected. We're gonna go ahead and drag that picture. Now this might not look right, but we're gonna go up here and drag it into the albedo. Yeah, see it. Okay, this doesn't look right because what I did is I didn't do this. So what I'm gonna do, this allows me to actually do it correctly. No, okay. So what we're gonna do, this is a problem for me right off the bat here. What we're gonna do, I'm just gonna take this off for now, and I'm just going to go to Pro Builder. If this does not work for you, go to Pro Builder, click plus, click on the drop down, click on plane. And for instance, I'm just gonna drag this into the scene. Now quick little note, before you actually use anything or just kind of like scale it, this is a quick little pro tip for the experienced Unity developer. this is also applied to beginners too. But what you can do is you can put this material on here, and for example, you can drag the material, or you can drag the picture up to the albedo here, and see how it's like this. This is what you want, a full circumference image. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna save that like that. We're gonna go ahead and the material is already left on there, but we're gonna go ahead and rotate that. We're gonna go ahead and rotate that and slide that into the frame. Now, once we slide that into the frame, now this is where I can tell you about this little feature. This little feature is a border feature, which also extends the size or scale without actually having to extend it with the little arrows. So this will actually extend the sides for you with a little doodad on a border. So this is what your image looks like now compared to before. So it is a perfect image. And you can add any logos on top of it of what you want. You can add animations in an image, which I'll tell you later in the series how to do that. Because I'm not actually using an animator program, I'm just using a video program and then adding animations into it and screenshotting it over. So I'm just gonna do this to all of them, and I'll see you back here once I'm done doing all these. Okay, so once you've got all your pictures in place, I'm actually gonna look for 2 different images to put on here, but this is an example of how to make a picture frame in Portrait. You can also do this in a different way by simply rotating the picture frame to be like this. Now, this isn't showing much. I'll just toggle this off just so you guys can see it. But you can also have a horizontal picture frame as well. But I'm just gonna rotate that back. And I'm just gonna find 2 more images real quick. Okay, so once you've got all your pictures installed and it looks like this, it doesn't have to look like this, but if it looks sort of reminiscent to like this, then you've got it. Next, what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some rugs in here. So a good asset for this is hold on. What asset did I have before? Apartment kit. There we go. So a good asset for this is apartment kit. Which has a lot of designs and prefabs built just right into it. So So I'm gonna go look on furniture, and I'm gonna go to living room. I'm actually going to put in a little desk here. Now these guys actually have animations into them. Some of these prefabs actually have animations which open and close certain things. If you didn't know, animations are the time of events in a Unity timeline where things can interact with each other and open or close, for example. So scale, I'm just gonna go ahead and push it back here. Put it in center with this picture frame. So, I'm just gonna add a little bit more here. Kind of like on the floor-ish. Okay, so once you've got your nightstands or furniture set up, you can have it set up once again the way I do, or the way differently. That depends on the way it looks in the scene. So you have it set up. Now we're gonna focus on plants. So a good asset for this, again, is Sci-Fi Modular Pack, which you can get from the Unity store as well. That's it. Sci-Fi styled modular pack. This one right here. This has an entire scene, and I've built actually a world using literally nothing, but these pictures don't really do justice. I mean, well, this picture does some kind of justice, but what I'm trying to say is this pack has literally everything you need, including furnitures, props, everything is sci-fi in this pack. This is crazy. I use it for decorating most of my worlds and most of everything. Sci-fi based plants are sometimes the way to go in terms of decorating. I'm just gonna go to sci-fi styled. I'm just gonna go to prefabs, decorative. I'm just gonna scroll down until I see, let's grab this guy. Or these little plants here. Also do justice, right? I'm just gonna decorate these guys along the desk here. Remember, if the plant doesn't fit, I always say this, if it doesn't fit, scale it till it fits. So now we have the plants. It's gonna go ahead and add in these tall towers here. Tall tower base plants here. So once you have your room looking like this, you're pretty much done with decorating for now. In case you want to do more, that's completely up to you, but right now I'm done with decorating for now. This is just a simple look of what the room is and what it essentially looks like. So that's gonna be it for now. For this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe. This would be a lot helpful to me in trying to grow a community and a channel. Also, if you're not a community member, you can consider joining my Discord, link down in the description. Links aren't not visible, they will be visible sometime soon. So you can just click on it. But all you do is, if you're on PC, you can just copy and paste it. If you're on phone, you can just copy and paste it into a web browser. It should take you directly to the app. But that said, if you want more content outside of YouTube, you can consider joining any one of the social links in or out of the description. I have them literally everywhere. But in that case, next part's going to be explaining on how to use teleportations and how to set up your spawn point and post-processing. So, in this case, I will see you guys later, honestly. Hope to see you in a new tutorial, Hopped, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!